Welcome to BR SizeUp. Today we're going to talk a little bit about extrication tools. Now this is not meant to be all-inclusive. There are literally thousands of tools that you could have in your cache, so we're just going to talk about a few of them. So I'm going to break it down into power tools, what I call manual tools. They can be powered, but they're powered by you as opposed to an engine or electricity. Hand tools, and a few other miscellaneous items. Power tools. So most of us, when we're thinking of extrication tools, we're thinking of a powered hydraulic extrication system. And that system is either going to be a high pressure system or a low pressure system. It's going to be powered by an electric motor or a gas motor. In most cases, it's a gas motor. Those power units, when you're buying one, I strongly recommend a gas unit if that's what you're looking at. If you're looking at a gas unit, I strongly suggest the ones that will power more than one tool. There's a lot of those out there now that used to not be that common. Now it's pretty common, and you can get them they're pretty affordable. So I would start with a power unit. If I'm going down this path and I'm going to do an extrication system like this, I'm going to get a power unit that powers more than one tool. And then when I'm looking at the tools, if my budget is pretty slim and I can only afford one tool, I would get a combi tool. But if I'm getting a combi tool, be careful. There's a lot of combi tools out there that are not very good. They're either not good at spreading and good at cutting, or not good at cutting and pretty good at spreading. There's only a couple out there that are pretty good at both. So I would just be aware of that. If you have the funds, I would start with a spreader. If you have the money to buy two tools, I'd start with a spreader and a cutter. If you have the money to buy three tools, I'd make that third tool a different cutter. There are many different type of cutters out there. There's some bigger ones, some smaller ones, some different type of designs. So I would start that way. So if you got one tool, I get a combi tool. If I'm able to get two tools, I get a spreader and a cutter. And if I'm able to get three tools, I get a spreader and two cutters. If I'm going into the fourth tool, I might look into rams. I'm a big fan of the telescopic rams. If we're going with a handheld system, so as pictured here, the electric systems, the battery-powered electric systems, I didn't used to be a big fan of those, but I am now. The only downsides to those are, number one, the cost, and number two, the weight. They're a little heavy, as opposed to if you had a traditional system with a hose. Generally speaking, the tool is going to be a little bit lighter because you don't have the power unit on there as well. But anyway, those electric systems, as I pictured here, the electric battery powered system, those things have come a long way. They're very effective. I strongly encourage you, if you have the funds, to look into those. Consumer, or what I call consumer tools, consumer power tools. When I speak of those, I'm primarily speaking of things like reciprocating saws or a sawzall, power drills, power screwdrivers, those type of things. Grinders. There's all sorts of things out there. When you're talking about a reciprocating saw or a sawzall, one of the things I tell people all the time is get blades, get plenty of blades. If you know the right people, you can probably get the blades donated. But if you're using your reciprocating saw at all, you're going to run through blades. It's just how it's going to be. You just might as well plan on it. It's a cost of doing business. Change those blades out, you're going to be a lot more effective. There's a lot of specialized tools out there. One in particular that I'm fond of is a glass cutter. With the change, luxury manufacturers of cars now are tending to put in impact resistant glass all the way around the vehicle. So that therefore means we have to cut that glass out as opposed to just pop it. So a glass cutter might be a good investment. There's a lot of good battery powered ones out there. Also with power tools, I'm talking about air powered. It's amazing how much damage you can do with an air chisel. You can cut a lot of stuff with an air chisel, a good air chisel, I should say. Airbags, winches, things like that. Those are other items that you should consider in your cache. So some of the manual tools that I'm talking about are like hand-powered hydraulic systems. So they're simple spreaders, but they're hand pump type spreaders. Those still have an application in this business. Sometimes they can get in places that we can't get into. with conventional hydraulic gas-powered systems. Bottle jacks, one of the least used and cheapest things that we can use on a extrication. Bottle jacks can help you in a lot of ways. They're relatively cheap, and most people know how to use them. So that's something you should think about. Struts, there's a whole host of different kind of struts out there. There's some companies that make some multi-use struts where you can use them in other type of rescue situations, such as a trench rescue or things like that, or building collapse. And then there are specialized struts that are designed specifically for like auto extrication, and that's really all that they're for. You can use them for other applications, but they're best used in auto extrication. If that's all you do, generally speaking, those type of struts, as pictured here in the center, those type of struts are usually a lot cheaper, a lot more affordable for a volunteer department to buy a small strut set to put on their truck if all you're doing really is auto extrication. And then some come along, you can buy those anywhere. One of the things I often caution people, and when we're talking about all these different types of tools, spend the money now, because you're going to spend it in one way or another. If you buy cheap tools, they're going to break. And when tools break, they can get us hurt. So it's always much better to buy the more expensive tools in most cases. I believe in the high quality tools. Hand tools, simple mechanics tools is what I'm generally talking about. There's a whole, I've been on multiple scenes, especially with machinery, where we've had some people pinned in the machinery, and we've simply taken the machinery apart with simple mechanics tools. So it's always important to have a good set of mechanics tools on your truck. Simple sledgehammer, pry bar, those kind of things. Your irons, your firefighter irons can be useful. A shovel, believe it or not. There may be situations where you need to create a good base for lifting, or you may need to dig to get in to actually stabilize something. So there's a lot of hand tools that you can put on your truck that'll be useful in an auto extrication. Other things you need to consider: chains. Have good chains. You can break chains. Believe me, this new equipment, this powered equipment can really do a number on chains. So you need to get good high quality chains. Same thing with the straps. If you don't know how to operate a ratchet strap, learn. I don't know how many times I've been on runs or at training when people don't know how to operate a ratchet strap. It's not that complicated. Train on it. Cribbing and lumber, you almost can't have enough of this stuff, because you never know what situation you're going to get in. I'm not a big fan of what I call man-made cribbing. I'm a big fan of the wooden cribbing, but there are some good other products out there that do a good job, but I prefer good old-fashioned wood. Pickets, if you don't know what pickets are, it's a way to create an anchor point as one thing. It also can help you in other situations. Rope, always need some good rescue rope. Tarps and ladders. There's multiple cases I've been on where we're up on top of a vehicle and we don't need to really be standing on top of it, but we need to get up there to do some type of operation, some kind of cut or some kind of spread or whatever it is. So it's always good to have a good utility ladder on your truck for those instances. Carefully planning your tool cache is critical to the effectiveness of your operation. You will not believe, if you spend any time in this, I've been in this for 35 years, and I've been on some extraordinary incidents, and this is a picture of one of them, where we were doing 4 heavy extrications at once on a multi-vehicle accident. So you never know what kind of tools you're going to need. You never know what kind of conditions there are. You may not be able to use your standard tools. You may have to get innovative. If you want to know more, as always, you can call me or text me and email me. You can find me on social media on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And obviously, you found me on YouTube. Thanks for watching.